Welcome to Karen's Creative Cards. My name is Karen Hashik and my passion is card making and trying new techniques, products, and fun folds, and then sharing them on my blog, in the classes I teach, and now on YouTube. I have classes in my home every month where I teach 3 cards. My students are all experienced stampers and card makers, and I work hard to find new techniques and products to inspire them each month. My students pay to take my classes, of course, and go home with 3 completed cards using the new techniques or products or fun folds. You can see how to make the cards I teach every month for free, and if you stick around to the end of the lesson, you can find out how you can win the cards I made in the video. If you found this video in September of 2017, be sure to watch the grand opening video to find out how to qualify for a chance at a prize package valued at almost $200. The winner of last month's cards will also be announced at the end of this video. This month I am showing you how to make 3 cards using Uchi's Designs animated stamps and dies in 3 different ways. The first card we are making will show how to use an Uchi's Design die along with their grids and animated stamps to make this Happy Thoughts card. If you watch it while we pull this out, the wings flap and the sun moves. That's the magic of these stamps. The second card features a beautiful Ballerina animated stamp, which is too big for Uchi's dies, so I designed my own pull-out animated feature. And you can see when you pull this, the Ballerina spins around, and there are some butterflies and other objects in there that move as well. And the third card, well, it may look like the first, but the big difference is we can now use color in our animated stamps and the grid with the new grid die from Uchi's Designs. So if you watch the butterflies and the dragonflies under the grid, they are flying, their wings are flapping. And then I stamped a couple others underneath. And that will be the third card I'm going to show. The first videos I made and posted were very short looks at the animation of these stamps because it was impossible to show that with still pictures on my blog. I found these stamps and dies from Uchi's Design at this year's Kreativation and was fascinated with how unique they were and how the stamps move. These little 5 or 7 second clips that I had posted got lots of views, so I decided to show all the cards I've made so far with Uchi's Designs, stamps and dies in my first video here on my new channel. I will link to that video in the description. And now I'm going to show you step by step how to make the 3 cards with these innovative stamps and dies. The first one we're going to be working on is this sending hugs and happy thoughts cards. And again, the wings flap and the sun goes around. To make this card, we're going to be using the Uchi's Design animation die cut set for the animation envelope DC 103. And you get all these pieces and a grid and a stamp in the die set. We're also going to be using her, it's called Growing Garden Animation Clear Stamps. When you get these stamp sets, they have a grid on the top and a picture, and you can move the grid and see how all the stamps are going to move when you use them. What's kind of cool is that you get the grid and then you also get this piece of paper that shows all the stamps. And you'll see in the butterfly card I did, my first one, I just used the paper right out of the packaging and the grid to make my card. But this is what the stamps look like when you get them out, and they all have the lines on them, and those lines plus the lines in the grid are what's going to make these stamps move. We're also going to be using an animation grid from Uchi's Design, and we're going to be using a stamp that says pull here. This stamp set is called Push Here stamp set from Fawn. And we're using a beautiful sentiment from Altenew Beautiful Day stamp set that says sending hugs and happy thoughts. And last but not least, we're going to be using Tim Holtz's Tonic Studios stamp platform to do the stamping, and you'll see why that makes it really, really easy to do that. I have a dark pink top folding card base that's 8.5 by 11, folded in half. I have already cut the main piece of the DC 103 animation envelope, Uchi's Designs die set, and the handle is also cut out of the pink floral designer. So there's a handle die. I can show that to you. This is the handle die, and you cut out, in that case I cut out the pink, and this is the main die piece that I cut out of also the designer paper. Then I also used two of these dies here. One cut to the opening here, and then I put two together and cut the frame in the dark pink. I am not going to be showing you the die cutting and the stamping, especially on these monthly classes. My students are here a good couple hours and you don't want to be watching a video that long, so I'm doing the die cutting and the stamping in advance. This piece here was cut to 4 3/4 by 2 7/8, and then we die cut the handle out of the end using the die I showed you, and then you die cut this handle piece, and I stamped pull here on here, already ready to go. We're going to use a grid, and then we're using a couple of bird punches, and this was just an old no-name punch that I had. I'm not sure obviously who the manufacturer was. On this piece here, you fold all of these in. I'm going to move this aside for now. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put this white piece in where you would have it, where you can read the pull here, and we're going to mark the corners of this white piece with a pencil so we know where we want to stamp. Then we're going to get our stamp platform back. Now I use a plastic Quilters grid in my stamp platform, and that way if you stamp off and you get dirt on it, you can clean it easily, and also you can mark exactly where you want to put your paper, especially if you're doing duplicates. Now these stamps have lines on them, so you can see. So we want the lines to be straight up and down. That's very important to make sure that the animation is going to work. And the bird, you want to have it kind of centered there. The sun can be off a little bit because you're going to be pulling it out this way. But again, you want the lines in the sun to go up and down. And what's really cool about this grid is once you pick those up, you can also look through the top of the Tim Holtz Tonic Studios stamp platform has lines in it as well, has lines, so you can see, are these lines in the stamp going straight up and down? And this one is good. Looks like the sun is a little crooked, so I'm going to move that. And now it looks pretty straight to me, and I just don't have very much room to work here. We're going to ink it up. And it looks good, but the bird needs a little more. Which is nice about the stamp platforms, because you can stamp as many times as you need to. I like to clean my stamps off with my Lawn Fawn stamp Shammy. Now we're going to erase those marks. We're going to attach the grid behind the opening. And then we're going to enclose the, that grid's a little long. Let's trim it off. I don't want to cut the pink. I did already though. Be easier to trim it from this side, I think, huh? Okay. And then we're going to enclose this envelope. And then you should be able to slide this in. And when you do, you should be able to see the animation of the wings flapping and the sun moving around, turning around. Very cool, huh? So we're going to attach that to the card. Guess I want it over there. And then we're just going to attach a couple birds and we'll be done. Decided I wanted to mount that second one on mounting tape. So our first card is done, our wings are flapping, and our sun is moving. And then when you pull it all the way out, you see those lines are in there, and that's what makes the animation, that and the grid, work. So anyone receiving that would really like that. So now we'll move on to the second card. Okay, this is the second card that we're going to be making. I'm calling it a beautiful ballerina card. As you can see, when we pull this tab back and forth, the ballerina dances and the pieces around her move as well. There wasn't a die big enough from Uchi's Designs to accommodate this large ballerina, so I designed my own kind of an envelope that goes on top of this, and I'm going to show you how I did that. We're going to be using the Uchi's Designs Ballerina stamp set As I was telling you in the beginning, when you get these sets, you get all the stamps that have the lines in them for the animation. You also get a grid, and you get a piece of paper that shows all the stamps. And when I was designing my first Ballerina card, I decided that I liked all those extra stamps all around the edge that also move. So I just used the piece of paper that came in with the stamp set. But the one we're going to do today, it's very difficult to set all these stamps up, so I'm just using a couple of the flourishes and a couple of the stars. Of course, I'm using an animation grid, and I am using this pennant die. Comes out of an Uchi's die set, DC 101. She gives you a couple pennants, and so this die works perfectly out of that set for our card. And then this is I have it here, a Tonic Studios Sunray Venus Layering Basics die set, and I use this to cut the opening out of the front of the card. We are also using a set by Penny Black that's called Heartfelt Stamp Set, and it says "You are beautiful inside and out." And on the inside we have a fabulous birthday. I love the combination of the fonts in that set, so we're using that today as well. And we're using a 1-inch punch. This one is by EK Success. Here are the pieces that we need. We have a black card base that is 6 1/4 tall by 9 1/2 wide, scored in the center for a center side folding card. We have a red frame piece that is 6 by 9 1/2, and I scored it on the long side at 1 inch and 5 1/2 inches, and then I folded it and created this frame for the ballerina. I stamped "You are beautiful inside and out" down here, and I took that Tonic Studios die and die cut the opening out of there. Of course, we're going to use a grid, and that pennant, I just cut the end off. Look at that, I put the tape on the wrong side, but that's okay. And made it 1 1/4 inches long, and I put a little piece of tape there that's going to grab the grid and move it back and forth. And I have this piece ready to go on the inside. This white piece is 5 by 3 3/4, and we are going to mark on here. If you put it towards the top where you want it, we're going to take a pencil and we're going to mark again just to have an idea where all the 4 corners and the sides are. We're also going to, this is going to be closed like that, and I marked with a pencil the center of the opening over here, and then we're going to take this 1-inch square punch and we're going to punch a little opening that pennant flag can go through. So that's all set. Of course, we're going to be using my Tim Holtz Tonic Studios stamp platform. And if you put this white piece in here, I've already done the lining up. I know I want to put it along that line there and to the edge. And then I took the ballerina and the 2 kind of like stars things and 2 other stars. And as I explained in the first part, when you're lining them up, if you look at the grid on the top of the stamp platform, you can tell that the ballerina is straight and all these other stamps are straight. And then we're going to ink it up. And press down firmly. And if it's not perfect, and it's not, the ballerina body still needs some more, you can stamp again as many times as you need to, which is really a wonderful feature of the stamp platform. And that is much better. I got some on my finger and I'm gonna clean it off with my Lawn Fawn Shammy to make sure I don't touch my white card, and I'm also going to clean my stamps with that and my platform. And now we're going to erase these marks. Now we're going to take this and we're going to, this is the top, tape this in here so that it will be seen through the opening. And so you want all those stamps to be seen, so you want it a little over. That's about as far as it can go. So we're going to tape that in place. So I'm just going to hold it in there lightly, not push or anything, and then see if we're good. You do want it to be up, straight up and down, so I think I'll go right over to the edge. And that's good. And then we can close this envelope. You want it to lay nice and flat, because having the grid flat against there means that it's going to show the motion better. And then we're going to take the grid and put it in there. And you can see the movement already. I want the grid's going to go back and forth from the left to the right, and so I want it all the way over to the left for now. And then I'm going to take my flag piece and very carefully, once you have it over there and it's straight, slide it in here. And we want to catch the end of the grid paper and be able to pull it back and forth. Can you see that? Ballerina dancing, very cool, huh? Now we're just going to attach it to the black card. Base. And attach the Have a fabulous birthday in the center. That you can sign on. And our Ballerina card. Sure, what did I tape here? Oh. We got some adhesive where we shouldn't have had it, but it's still okay. So I'm going to use my adhesive eraser. See, you're watching me make a mistake here. Still sticking. Why is that? Okay, I'm back. I didn't want to make you sit and wait while I figured out what I did wrong. But what I did, why the grid wasn't able to move, is I had used this tape runner and gone down here, and I had extra adhesive sitting here that wasn't attached in the back. So I didn't want you to do the same thing. So what I've decided is just to use one of these real thin 1/8 inch tape to close this back up. Okay. And then there won't be any extra adhesive, and this pennant is able to then go back and forth. It was sticking along the side there. So now we're going to add some more adhesive on the back here and attach it to the card again. Although we did decide that we didn't want any close to this either, right? Okay. So let's see. So we can pull on the pennant and the ballerina will dance and the stars and the swirls will move. And it says, "You are beautiful inside and out and have a fabulous birthday." Okay, we're back for our third card. This is the one that is very exciting because when I first found out about Uchi's animated stamps and their dies, you had to use black ink and a black grid. But recently they've come out with a new die that actually cuts the grid, and so now you can use any color you want. And in this case I used a bright pink for the card and for the butterflies behind. And as you can see, as we move it, the butterflies' wings and the dragonflies' wings flutter. And then I put a couple extra butterflies behind so that when you pull it out, then you see some more beautiful butterflies. So that's the card we're going to be working on next. We're going to be using, this is the new die, like I said, from Uchi's, and it's the Animation Grid DC 106, and you can actually use it both horizontally and vertically depending on the stamps that you have. Right now I have stamps that have to be pulled this way, but I'm hoping to get some that could be pulled up as well. So I thought that was a very exciting development there. I'm going to be using the butterfly set of stamps. I'm using one of the medium-sized ones and a couple dragonflies from this one. Like I told you before, the sets come in a packaging that gives you a grid and a piece of paper behind it, so you can see right in the stamp packaging how those wings are going to flutter, which is very cool. We're going to be using one die from this set, and that is this end piece that's going to cut the tab that we're going to pull out, and that is again the animation envelope die from Uchi's Designs. We're going to be using once again the Lawn Fawn Push Here set, and I'm using the Pull Here stamp from that. And we're also using a beautiful set from Penny Black called Snippets. I'm using the small butterflies and the Let Your Dreams Take Flight, which I thought was perfect for this card. We're also using Gina K Designs Passionate Pink, some Versafine black ink, and some skinny two-sided tape. I did want to mention when I was trying to save the mistake on the last card, I was using an adhesive eraser, and I have this on my desk at all times. That and my Tomboy sand eraser, mono eraser. Between the two of these, most disasters can be fixed. So they're a really nice thing to have on hand, and I will try to link to those. I also swear by this magic rub eraser that a friend gave me, and I would use this on pencil but also on other things. So again, those three special erasers save a lot of disasters. We're going to start with a white card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored for a top folding card. I'm using the 110 pound cardstock from Michael's Recollection collection. I find that it's a really good weight and very reasonable in Michael's, and I'll put a link to that in my description as well. We're using a pink card front, 5.25 by 4, and a white pull-out piece that is 5 by 2 3/4. I've already cut the end with that die that I showed you and stamped the pull here on that piece. This piece, I have already die cut the grid out of the center of it, and if you watch the video on Uchi's designs, she was using a big shot, so she was using like an extra metal plate. But I use the Tonic tangerine die cutting machine, and I found I do not need that at all. You just put it through a couple times and then maybe just give it a turn, and that's all you need to do, and you get a beautiful cut every time. I have stamped the Let Your Dreams Take Flight and the pretty butterfly here in preparation for putting this card together. So what we're going to do is we're going to line this pink piece up on the front of the card where you would have it, and then we're going to just put little marks here in all four corners. And we're also going to put the white pull-out piece where we think it would be here, and you would have the pull here, and then you would have you want to mark all four corners on that as well, so you know where to do your stamping. On this piece, I just decided it was fun when you pull this out to have something behind there and not just have a white blank. So I am stamping a couple of the butterflies from that same penny black set in black. This is the primary one, and then I'm going to put a small one in there too. And then use my magic eraser again. And set that aside. I'm going to be using my Tim Holtz Tonic Studios stamp platform one more time. I'm going to line this up here and put some of the magnets down. And then we're using 3 stamps, 1 main butterfly and 2 dragonflies. And this is the primary one, and we're going to line it up as straight as we can get it. And then we're going to put one of the dragonflies here, and once again this is the one with the lines that going that way, so we want this one down here, and then this one goes like this. So if you look at the lines in the stamp, you can see they have to be up and down for this one, so and you want them kind of within that square. So once again, we're going to press the grid down, the top down, and then we're going to look at our stamps and see. This one here looks like it needs to be lined up a little bit better. So I usually pick a line on the grid and a line on the stamp and try to align them. A line and a line and align them. Yes, okay. And then this one looks pretty good to me. Maybe a little bit that way. And this one looks pretty straight. So if we're looking at it, the lines appear to be straight on the stamps. And now we're going to ink it up. And what's exciting is that we can ink this up with pink ink. We could not do that before. You can do it with any color of ink. I'm using Gina K's bright pink here. That looks pretty good. I don't think I need to do any more on those. Erase those lines. And it looks like I got a little goober on there, so I can take it off with my sand eraser, hopefully. Although I don't think that would be that obvious underneath. Seems to be some marks up there too. Okay. So now we're going to apply skinny two-sided tape to the back of 3 sides of this front piece. I know you guys can't see it, but I can. There's a little goober on there too. I think just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go with the real skinny stuff on the top here. I don't want to get too close to that grid. Trying both sides till one of them comes up. Okay. All right, and we put that in, and we have it pull here, and you pull, and the butterfly's wings and the dragonfly wings, and then when you pull it out a little further, you can see the beautiful butterflies underneath. So our card is complete. Oops, I forgot, when I was designing this card, I decided that it needed a couple gems. It just seemed like this area and this area was a little blank, bare, so I got out some pretty pink gems. And in the rules of 3, I'm putting 3 on. There we go. So our card is complete. And we have 3 animated cards that we've made today. I hope you enjoyed my second session of card making techniques and tips. If you would like to receive the cards I made in the video today in the mail, all you need to do is become a subscriber or be a returning subscriber and tell me in the comment. Leave a comment telling me where you're from. Sorry, I can't mail to outside of the United States. And which was your favorite of the cards I showed today and why. If you're comfortable with leaving your email address, you can stretch it out like your name at gmail.com. I will be sure to reach you if you win, or stop back early next month and I'll post next month's card class and respond to your comment letting you know you won. The winner of last month's cards, I put all the comments, the names of all the people who commented in a bowl, and I had my husband draw, and Donna Wakefield is the winner of last month's cards. Donna, I'll get a hold of you to get your snail mail address and get those out in the mail to you. This contest this month is open in the month of September 2017 until the October 2017 class is posted. Thanks for helping me share the joy of creativity.